Here we go. At about 17, and 1, 170 B and 1, 1 2 and 2 and 3, down 4, 175, 176 and 7, $7 here, $8 179 to bid, $80 here, 81, 1, sold at $1.80. Next lot.
It sure sounds like you've done that a time or two.
I've done it a time or two.
Welcome back to Trail Boss. I'm your host, Whitney Winter-Smith. Today I'm joined by Mason Winter, and we got to sit down and talk with Philip Gilstrap today. He's joining us out of Pendleton, South Carolina. Philip is a 2016 WLAC Top 5 finalist and an owner-operator of his own livestock market, P&G Livestock, down there in South Carolina. What do you think, Mace?
Talking to a owner-operator gave us a really good full picture of what really goes on into these sales. He's more than just sitting in the block selling cattle. He's dealing with producers on a daily basis and telling us everything that really goes on.
Yeah, it's kind of a whole picture view, and we get into some auctioneer prep, kind of how he got started, some different things like that. It's a pretty good conversation that we had.
Mm-hmm. Excited to get into it with him.
Yeah, we even hear about a skunk in a box.
So, Philip, what got you started in all these competitions? I see that you've won the WLAC Top 5 in, what was it, 2016? Top 5 finalist.
Yeah. It was really just on accident that we started the competitions. I saw something on RFD one time, and it showed the broadcast. I was like, man, those guys right there are pretty doggone good. I said, I'm gonna give it a whirl. And one of my former bosses, Mr. David Ellison, owned Franklin County Livestock and the Palmetto Livestock Barn, had passed away. And that year, I told his sons, I said, I'm going to do something in honor of David because he was a mentor of mine. I said, I'm going to enter a contest. And my very first contest, the qualifier, was in Montgomery, Alabama. And went down there, and Justin Dodson, Dustin Folks, Brandon Neely, those guys were there. And I said, whew, this is going to be pretty doggone tough. And I walked in and didn't know a whole lot about competition and stuff like that. Walked in, make a long story short, at that time, the LMA was only taking the top 8. I was fortunate enough to be 4th. I think Justin was 1, Dustin was 2, Brandon was 3, and I was 4th. And I said, what a stiff deal. And then the finals that year was actually in Anderson, South Carolina, which is only 6 miles from my house. And that year I think I ended up at 11th in my first year, and the interview stumped me and all that good stuff. But, then it just kind of went on from there, and we just enjoy the camaraderie and meeting of the different folks and going to the different venues and selling cattle all across the world in the contest.
That'd be a pretty cool deal, your first one being in your backyard right there.
That was nice. It was really nice. It was. Didn't have to travel far at all. The furthest we had to go was to Greenville to stay at the hotel. That was the biggest thing. I had to drive 30 miles to Greenville to the barn 6 miles from my house.
Was that a barn that you'd sold at before, or was it your first time in there?
No, first time in there. Yep. Never had sold it.
Oh, right there in the backyard. And that's pretty good first time in there, though.
Yeah, that's a good
really
setup.
Was. Yep. It was nice.
So did you always know you wanted to be an auctioneer?
I did at a very young age. I used to go to the sale barn with my dad and my grandpa, and you just loved to hear the auctioneer, just loved to hear the cattle rattle, as they call it. I told my dad, my grandpa, my grandma, and my mom, when I guess I was probably 6, 7 years old, I said, when I grow up, I want to be an auctioneer. And, I just kept thinking, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do, because I hated school. I wanted to skip school to work with cows, go to cow shows, do whatever. And, I said, I'm going to be an auctioneer. So that from there, from 6, 7, 8 years old, it turned into this. So all these years later.
Quite the progression. That's like, that's how it starts. There's so many kids that are down at the sale barn or grow up in it, and you get that look there when you're young, and that's it.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, it's just passion. I mean, it's a passion to affect the livelihoods of so many people means so much to me. A lot of people depend on that one paycheck once a year, when they bring cattle to town, and that's what it's about to me, is the livelihood of the farmer rancher.
You bet. And how much does that weigh on you when you're up in the block? I mean, are you thinking about each individual draft as somebody's livelihood, or is it just a job that you're doing?
No, it's not a job. I'm there thinking, hey, I got to get the most that I can for Farmer Sam, Farmer Bill, or whomever, because they need money to go buy a tractor or equipment or fertilizer, or feed, or God forbid gas or diesel fuel at this point in time. It runs through your mind, and when you sell a calf, you think it's too cheap. You think, well, what's wrong? What happened here? And you go back in the back and you look at it and you see something that you didn't see in the ring, and that's kind of where you go from.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and somebody who runs a barn, I'm sure that does really weigh on you a little more than some of these guys who are just bouncing around and strictly selling. I mean, you're seeing all aspects of it and talking to the producers day in and day out and really dealing with them.
Yes, you got to deal with those producers. Because hey, all it takes is one bad mess up, and they tell all their friends all the bad. They never tell their friends anything about the good. They tell them all about the bad. I promise you that.
The good news doesn't go down with the coffee quite as well.
No, it sure doesn't. It sure doesn't. Never has and never will.
So you sell more than just cattle at your barn. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, we sell sheep and goats and pigs, larns, and then the sale I sell on Mondays as well at Canton, North Carolina. We sell sheep and goats and pigs. This past Wednesday at Larns, we had 176 or 86 goats and sheep. And friend of mine called. He said, "Hey," he said, "You care if I sell the goats and the sheep?" I said, "No, sir." I said, "It'd be my honor to let you sell them."
Do you think that, I mean, selling different animals like that, how has that affected your chant? And is it pretty similar to selling cattle? I know a lot of these guys, they sell cars on the side, but we haven't heard a lot of other livestock.
It really hasn't affected my chant. I sell the goats and the hogs the same way I sell the cattle. The only thing I'll change up, we do several registered sales throughout the Southeast, registered Brahman sales and F1 type sales, and I'll change up a little bit, slow down, just to give, because those purebred guys, they're a little slower about bidding, and you're asking for a whole lot more dollars, and so I'll change it up a little bit there. But as far as the goats, the sheep, and the pigs, those guys, they're seasoned veterans, most of them, about buying stuff, and so they know they're ready to roll. They can keep up.
Yeah, I'll bet, especially out in that region. I mean, probably be good chunk of goats and sheep and hogs.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Not as many hogs as we used to have, but goats they're pretty prominent.
They're kind of catching on all over, it seems like. Seeing just a lot of ease and care for them.
Oh yeah, a goat's worth more than a calf. I mean, at the end of the day, you sell it.
Don't be saying that too loud.
You sell a 50-pound goat for $200. I mean, I don't know. This cattle thing's getting right again, though. So hopefully the goats will cheapen up and the cattle will go back up high again.
Absolutely. Our fingers are crossed.
Yeah, amen.
Has there been anything too obviously unique that comes through there, or mainly just the sheep and hogs?
Just sheep and hogs and goats, basically. Nothing really. Back when I had my small animal sale back years ago, I ran that thing for 18 or 19 years, and you wouldn't believe some of the stuff you would see that would come through there. And we sold. There was one night, a guy thought he was going to play a trick on somebody and going to put a polecat, a skunk in a box. And I said, "You ain't put no skunk in a box." Oh. So yeah, but you never know, those small animal deals. You get a lot, but mainly, our cattle sales is cattle and sheep and goats. May have a horse or two every now and again, but not much.
Mm-hmm. So, being somebody who's gone around to a few of these competitions, how is it stepping into a new barn and trying to figure out markets and buyers and where everybody's sitting? And is there anything you do to prep yourself for that, or just come in and get to work?
I just come in and try to get to work. It's difficult. When you step into a new venue and you don't know where anybody's sitting, and you scan the crowd as best as you can, and gosh, you sure enough hate to miss somebody and a judge be sitting right behind them. I just try to scan as best I possibly can, and the only thing I really do to prepare myself is I just kind of just sit around and think, and go run numbers through my head. And I usually try to study market reports and stuff like that before contest, or if I go to fill in at a yard somewhere, and just to try to see where the market is, so I don't sit up there and start one $20 back of the money or $20 over the money kind of thing. And, of course, the contest to start the cattle for us. And usually we get pretty good runs. And most of the contest, I mean, the buyers are they're pretty good. They'll bid to you, they know that you're new, most of them, and they'll flop and come on most of the time.
Yeah. And I mean, in our deal, we have bid callers and everything. And I know WLAC, you're kind of more on your own up there. So
right.
Does that change your approach or?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have bid callers in my weekly sales, and we got them at one of our registered sales, and other times we don't. I just try to figure out, like I said, where everybody's at. And, after you sell that 1 or 2 or 3 draft or whatnot, you pretty much can figure it out. But those first couple of drafts of cattle you sell is usually dicey. You're looking around a big venue and you're like, oh my gosh, where's Billy sitting, or Bobby. Everybody talks about Bobby, the guy that's buying the cattle, and you finally find him. And once you find him, then to go back to him on every draft.
So we talked a little bit in the past. What do you think your best order of selling is? I mean, you want to be towards the front, towards the back, towards the middle? What's your personal preference on sale order?
I like to be kind of towards the back, middle to back, not the very back, but middle to back. I don't like that front. I tell you, a lot of guys like to get it out of the only thing I want to do at the front is have an interview at the front, get that over with. And then when it comes to sale, I like to be, I don't know if he's 20 guys, I'd like to be 15, 16, 14 to 16 kind of deal.
Let the judges get all calibrated before they get to you.
That's exactly right. Sometimes it takes those judges a minute or two. I've had a judge tell me it's hard to score a guy, that's in the front really, really good, and then somebody behind him may be better. I said, well, you just got to go with personal preference when you're scoring somebody.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Have you spent much time on the judging side of any of these competitions?
I've never judged. I never have. Never. I've always wanted to, but gosh, after seeing some of these contests, I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't want to be a judge. There ain't no way.
That's a tough
no
job.
way.
Seems like the toughest job of the day.
Yes.
Yeah, especially this one. The lineup is stacked. I mean,
oh my goodness. I'm just honored to be a part of this lineup. Whether you're first or whether you're 10th in this deal, it's you're competing against the who's who. I mean, you look at that lineup and anybody that says, oh, that's a weak lineup, they don't know what they're talking about. This is a stout lineup, I promise you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Like I said, I'm happy to not be a judge.
That's exactly right. I wouldn't want to judge this one. There's no way I'd want to judge this one. No way.
So have you been actively competing anywhere, or is this kind of getting you back into it?
Just WLAC. Been competing in it. We were in Shipshewana, Indiana for the finals this year and had a good time up there. And I try to compete, with the WLAC every year. I like I said, the family atmosphere of it, the friend atmosphere of it, going to see folks that you only see one time a year. It's the only time you get to see them. And, we're also strung out as auctioneers across the country, and the friendships that we've made throughout the years that we've been doing it. That's what keeps you going back. That's the drive that makes you go back. And of course, hey, you want to win the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to win it. I mean, that's why we're all here, is to win it.
What's your motivation to win?
Motivation to win, just to have the opportunity to be crowned, per se, King of the Ring champion. It would mean so much to me and my family, because you've competed against former world champions. You've competed against the best of the best, and to have an opportunity to win that and just walk away from there as a champion. I mean, the motivation to continue to do it is that drive to want to win. That's the motivation to continue to do it. I'm a competitor. I am. I like it. First place to me is first place. Second place, second place. I mean, it is what it is. But I am a competitor. I played sports for a little while in high school and stuff, but I like to compete. I like to. I sure want to win every contest I go to, no doubt.
You mentioned your family, and I know you got a little 8-year-old son. Is he going to follow in your footsteps, being an auctioneer? Or?
He says so. I don't know. He says so. He's into cows real big, and so he says that he's gonna do it. And I try every chance I get to get him on my knee and let him sell. He's kind of in that age right now to where he just thinks it's funnier to scream in a microphone than it is just to actually chant or bid. So but we're working with him, and so hopefully he'll follow in Daddy's footsteps and one day take over for Daddy.
Yes, sir. You
that's
bet.
that's because Daddy don't plan on doing this till he's 80 or 85. Kind of deal. He plans on enjoying a little bit of life down the road.
Gonna get them all trained up to take over for you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So you said you've always wanted to be an auctioneer. Did you go the self-taught way, or did you go to an auctioneer school?
The state of South Carolina required to go to a school. And I went to an auction school, which here in South Carolina, I actually went when I was in high school. My senior year of high school, I knew that's what I wanted to do, was be an auctioneer. So I took a week off and went to auctioneering school, took my exam. Then just started kind of following local auctioneers, listening to what they did at sale barns and stuff, listening to their chant, and just kind of put it all into perspective of what I wanted to be and how I wanted to go about doing things. And so like I said, I went to the school, and then from there I got out of school, graduated high school, sold a horse sale for a couple of years, then a small animal sale for, like I said, took it over, ran it for 19 years, and then got into the cattle sale deal, and it just kind of escalated from there.
Been on a hell of a run since. Pretty good decision to go to that auctioneer school, I'd say.
It was the best decision. Between that and marrying the love of my wife, that's the best decision I've ever made.
We won't mention anything to your son, I guess, but
yeah. No, that's
he's in there too.
Yeah. No, I think they gone to lunch or something. I don't know. They left me at the office.
You had mentioned the Bramers over there and selling some of those purebred sales. Is that something that do you guys stay involved in that pretty heavily, or just kind of yearly sales? Or
we do. I'm the president of the Carolinas Brahman Breeders Association, and this year we had our 42nd consecutive annual sale.
Wow.
It's the longest running Brahman sale in the United States. There's not one anywhere that ran this long. And there was times back in the day to where we was like, oh gosh, we don't know if we're going to have enough money to have a sale to put on, and somebody would come up and we'd put a sale on, and we just kept on moving forward. And I've been the president of it now for, I don't know, 17, 18 years, I guess, and maybe 20. And we kind of escalated it from, I don't know, 15, 20 head. Now we're selling, 30. We try to keep it kind of small. We'll sell 50 to 60 on average, no more than 60 on the registered side, and usually about 40 head of F1s, and usually have a great average. And then I do another sale in Hattiesburg, Mississippi in April. And we've started a new sale in Troy, Alabama in late August, and just trying to kind of branch them out. These ear cattle they're coming a little more prominent and popular in our area, just because of the way they tolerate the heat and things of that nature.
Right. And yeah, we're seeing more of them getting into our region too.
Yeah, sure.
Are those purebred sales, do you have a different approach to them than just a typical weekly sale?
Yeah, it's preparation, because we put catalogs together and mail out catalogs and got to contact prospective buyers. And the approach is more so a year to year thing versus, a weekly sale. It's a week to week, and so, I mean, I tell people all the time, they ask me, when you're getting ready to do a registered sale, I said, what do you, when do we need to start for next year's sale? I said, the day after this sale. That's when you prepare for next year, the day after this sale. And so that's kind of the approach we take, and it generally it's worked pretty well for us.
Does that say pretty local, or how far out does that reach?
all the way to Texas. We'll get consigners from Texas and buyers from Texas.
Wow.
Oklahoma, Arkansas will participate, and then we go. Of course, there'll be northern states. Florida well represents, Georgia, Alabama, pretty much the southeast, and then some of the west, but not far west. Texas, from like Dallas to here's 12 hours, something like that ride. 12 hours, I think, 11, 12 hours. So we can generate some folks coming.
That's a pretty impressive spread.
Yep. It's good. I think this year at the Carolina sale we sold to 9 different states on 60 head of cattle. I think we sold to 9 states, I believe, the way it broke down.
Yeah, that's a pretty far reach.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, Philip, we're super excited to get you out to Dodge. You got anything you're looking forward to in particular?
I'm just looking forward to coming out there and selling some really good cattle, and looking forward to meeting all y'all face to face, and looking forward to competing and seeing some old buddies that we hadn't saw in a while, and just looking forward just to being a part of this. And then again, thanks for the invite, an honor to be a part of it. I couldn't tell you how. When I got the call, when you called me, I was like, you bet. I didn't even think, I'm ready to go. And it just worked out to where this year we've been wanting to do it for 2 or 3 years now, but this year it just worked out that we were able to do it. So we're excited about coming and appreciate the opportunity to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited. It's going to be a short 2 weeks, and then get you on out here.
Yeah,
you bet. We're ready. We're ready.
Well, Philip, thanks for taking some time out of your day to talk to us and everything. So we'll see you in a few short weeks.
You bet. Y'all stay safe. Take care.